by my co-pilot, the ever-vibrant Laura Mondi, as we bring you 30 minutes of news, insights, and inspiration. So sit back, stay informed. The EBN Prime Edition coming to you live from our studios in the nation's capital, Nairobi, begins right now with our top story for tonight. Tension still remains high in Kahawa West after a night security guard was brutally killed early this morning by armed robbers who broke into a liquor store and made away with goods worth 2.5 million shillings. Police say the gang struck at around 4 a.m., disabling the store's CCTV system before executing the haste and fatally attacking the guard on duty. Locals say they were alerted at about 7 a.m., after which the incident was reported at the Kahawa West police station. Residents are now blaming the rising insecurity on a prolonged power outage after Kenya Power removed a transformer for repairs 3 weeks ago and are set to replace it. A blackout, they say, has left the area vulnerable to criminal activities and are now calling on the government to act urgently. Now detectives have so far launched investigations and assure the public that a manhunt for the suspect is underway.
They have really shocked us by killing our security. That was the most saddest news in Nimesikia. Wafadhali wangebeba kila kitu, but kuua huyo alikuwa Masai. It was inch of 40 hapo.
Hii si kitu ya kwanza kufanyiwa hii. Ilianza kutoka kitambo sana. Zaidi ya kitambo zaidi kutoka Sambaya huko chini wamama kuliwa Kamae na pia Reri. Hakuna security ya kutosha. Usiku saa 1, 6, 5, saa 10 mtu anatoka kazi yake, anaongea na mtu kwa simu kwa barabara, shanyang'anywa simu. Ukiangalia hata hizi bodaboda zinaundwa, inakuwa ni kama ya kwenda mbio ambao ndio wanazitumia ili wakuiba wizi.
One of the victim wenye waivamiwa na wengi wanakuanga na mapikipiki. Nikaenda nikaongea na OCS na OCPD wa Kahawa West na wakatuambia wata improve. Tukaenda tukaandikisha statement, and since that time up to date we have never seen any change.
Now, President William Ruto has arrived in Washington, D.C. in the United States for a major diplomatic and economic mission. Invited by U.S. President Donald Trump, the Kenyan head of state is set to witness the historic signing of the DRC-Rwanda peace agreement, a key step towards bringing stability to the region, with Kenya playing a key diplomatic role in the regional peace process. The ceremony will also bring together President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Paul Kagame of Rwanda. The agreement is seen as a major step towards ending decades of conflict in eastern DRC. President Ruto is also scheduled to hold high-level bilateral talks with U.S. officials focused on trade, investment, health cooperation, as well as regional security. Additionally, while in Washington, D.C., the president is also expected to witness the signing of a new Kenya-U.S. health framework to strengthen universal health coverage and support Kenya's push towards a first-world economy, with emphasis on attracting public-private partnerships and investments.
Yes. How are you? To the cold season. Yes. Hello. How are you? Thank you. And Emily. Yes. Okay, Emily. That's good.
The Elections Observation Group, that is ELOG, has released a comprehensive report on the recent by-elections, raising serious concerns over widespread voter bribery, incidents of violence and security lapses across multiple polling stations. In its analysis, ELOG highlights breaches of ballot secrecy, including cases where voters were seen openly photographing their marked ballot papers, a direct violation of electoral procedures. The report also flagged unusually high levels of assisted voting, with some polling stations recording nearly 90% of voters being assisted by presiding officers. The observers further raised alarm over the presence of unauthorized individuals inside polling centers, including political super agents and even persons identified as DCI officers entering without proper accreditation, which they say undermine the credibility of the process. The by-elections, which included both parliamentary and ward seats, attracted national interest as political parties tested their strength ahead of the 2027 contest. ILOG is now calling for urgent and comprehensive electoral reforms, warning that the violence, intimidation, and misuse of state resources witnessed in these by-elections must not be allowed to define Kenya's democratic future.
There was a concerning presence and active involvement of high-ranking government officials, which include members of the executive both at the national and the county level, state security officials, and other public officers. Such participation and engagement from officials who by law are required to remain neutral has the effect of tilting the playing field in favor of governing political parties and influencing voter behavior as a result.
The Commission must provide regular updates throughout the process. The silence of the Commission during the campaign period as well as on E-Day and the after result declaration was alarming. While noting that they did take some action on offending candidates in Kasipul and further issued a statement condemning the violence on E-Day, it is our considered view that they punched way below their weight.
Just days after the conclusion of recent by-elections and the elected leaders sworn into office, a human rights group, Vocal Africa, is now threatening to take legal action against the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that is IEBC, and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, accusing them of failing to take stern action against those who violated electoral laws during the mini-polls. Addressing journalists in Nairobi, the activists led by Hussein Khalid warned that after a 14-day notice, they will proceed to court to sue the two institutions. They claim there was government interference in the chaos witnessed in Malava, Mbeere North and Kasipul, and are now demanding the resignation of state officers who they say actively campaigned for government-allied candidates. Vocal Africa has further dismissed the entire electoral process, terming the polls unfair due to widespread violence, intimidation, voter bribery, and failure by the new IEBC Commission and the EACC to take action. The group is now challenging the two institutions to take responsibility and address the allegations, warning that they will move to court if their concerns are ignored.
Zile sheria za uchaguzi zilikuwa zinakiukwa peupe na wanasiasa na wengineo ambao walikuwa wanajihusisha katika masala kama haya. Sisi leo hii tutafikisha ripoti hii kwa tume ya uchaguzi pamoja na tume ya kupigana na ufisadi na wengineo, na tutawapea makataa ya siku 14 ili kuchukua hatua za kisheria kulingana na yale mapendekezo tuliopeana.
IEBC's weakness was failure to disqualify violators or enforce basic rules, embolden offenders. Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission ineffectiveness. We had zero visible action against public officers engaged in political campaigning.
Moving on, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua had dismissed claims of a rift between him and Wiper Patriotic Front party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, saying the government is desperately attempting to drive a wedge between them in a bid to divide the opposition. Speaking during a ceremony to receive MCAs elected on the Democratic for Citizens Party in the just concluded by-elections, Gachagua touted the victory as a proof that his party is a national outfit. He further accused the government of deploying goons and using violence to influence the outcome of the mini polls.
Mimi nimemwambia my cousin Kalonzo Musyoka, wewe ndio umesaidia ODM Nairobi siku hizi yote kuchukua viti. Umewasaidia kuchukua Mathare, umewasaidia kuchukua Kibra, umewasaidia kuchukua kila pahali, wanakuachia kiti moja. Nimwambia kuhusu OCB, unisaidie vile ulikuwa unasaidia ODM. Iko makosa gani kuhusu akinisaidia? Iko makosa? Na mimi siwezi kuwa kama hawa ati tumwachie moja. Sisi we are fair. We'll sit down and say where DCP is strong and requires Wiper support, Wiper will support us. Where Wiper is strong and requires DCP support, DCP will support. That is the arrangement. But you see, they want to create a narrative, oh, DCP wants to dominate Wiper. Nonsense. We are very strong partners. That is how Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka took over the DCP campaign in Magarini. That is how close we are. That is why in Mubuni North, the people there called me to address all meetings on phone to support the Wiper candidate. And you know, people are trying to think that they can get Kalonzo away from the united opposition. You are daydreamers. And Kalonzo himself has said, the spokesman for the cousin movement is Rigiji. So, if William Ruto wants to take Kalonzo, you come and talk to Rigiji. And William Ruto, because you call me a tribalist, the day you come to Amunyoro, you come with a translator. Si ndio? Si anasema si ni wa kabila? William Ruto ukitaka kuongea na mimi ukuje na translator.
Still on that note, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has hit back at the media, accusing several outlets of deliberately misreporting his comments following his address on Sunday. Speaking during the unveiling of newly elected members of County Assembly, Gachagua singled out Citizen TV reporter Stephen Leto, claiming he published biased and false information. He clarified his statements regarding his party DCP sweeping top seats in Nairobi County, insisting the media had misreported his remarks. Wiper party leader Kalonzo Musyoka earlier denied any deal between him and Gachagua to withdraw Wiper candidates in favor of DCP in major Nairobi seats.
I want to ask the media to be responsible and to stop open bias. On Sunday, I said that DCP is in talks with Wiper and other parties in the united oppositions. And we have looked at the formula in Nairobi, regional composition, party loyalties, and past performances. And we have come to the conclusion that the united opposition can take 16 out of 17 seats. We have looked at the history of the voting patterns in Nairobi, and we are convinced that the united opposition, where DCP and Wiper are strong partners, can take 75 out of 85 wards. I have seen the Star today in a headline lying to people of Kenya that I say DCP will take the 75 seats. Shame on you. I saw Taifa Leo yesterday with a bold headline saying that I said all DCP candidates in Nairobi will be Kikuyus. Shame on you. I say DCP is a national party. Citizen TV, Stephen Leto, if you are here, you filed a very biased report on Sunday, and you were there personally. Criminals came and attacked us in church. They were driven away by Christians. They came back, backed by police with guns and fought us. The OCS 3 were tear gas canister in church. Then Stephen Leto files a report that police came to separate gangs who were fighting. It's a lie. It's a lie. You know? Stephen Leto says that police did not throw tear gas canister in church. We were there in church when the OCS 3 were tear gas canister. Let's be professional. Even if you want to run for a seat at the UDA, as long as you are working for a TV station, be neutral for now.
Kakamega County Fernandez Baraza has appealed to residents to continue supporting the national government to ensure development projects are fully delivered. Speaking during the funeral of a county official at the Itete Primary School, Governor Baraza referred to recent by-elections, saying they are a clear indicator that the Kenya Kwanza administration is poised to win the 2027 general elections. He accused the united opposition of creating divisions among Kenyans through politics of hate, divisions, and empty rhetorics, insisting that Kenyans have rejected such attempts to divide the nation in their quest for power.
Sisi kama wana Kakamega na watu ambao wako kwa broad-based, nataka kutangazia wale jamaa wa kabila ya kwamba ile mambo mliona Malava juzi Hiyo ni dalili ya mvua. Dalili ya mvua in 2027, wembe ni ule ule.
Now to some health matters is that Machakos County is now staring at a potential healthcare crisis as doctors threaten to down their tools, citing the county government's failure to implement a previously agreed collective bargaining agreement on medical insurance and staff promotions. Charles Okumu, chairman of the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, that is KMPDU in the Lower Eastern region, says the union will issue a 21-day strike notice following consultations with national officials. He castigated the county government for not being keen on health issues, calling for an immediate action, and stressed that unresolved concerns, including failure to streamline health insurance and delays in the Universal Health Plan and staff promotions, have severely impacted healthcare workers, leaving them vulnerable.
We are sounding a warning. This is the final warning we are giving the county, because we have been negotiating for 6 months from July of this year. We are in December. These issues have not been solved as we speak. So this is a final warning, and we are going to get the national office. We are going to meet the national officials, and we are going to issue a strike notice if these issues are not addressed. If these issues are not addressed within the shortest time possible.
Members of Parliament from the northeastern region are now sounding the alarm over an impending severe drought, with leaders urging the government to declare the situation a national disaster to allow for immediate intervention. Speaking in Parliament, the lawmakers warned that communities are now relying on overstretched boreholes, with most water pans completely dried up, leaving thousands of families in urgent need of support amid a sharp decline in rainfall across the Horn of Africa. The MPs are calling on both the national government and humanitarian agencies to step in before the situation spins out of control, urging the states to activate the livestock offtake program as the drought continues to escalate to crisis levels. The leaders further warned that failure to act swiftly could see the situation descend to unmanageable levels as the drought deepens.
To intervene. What are we asking the government to do? We are asking the government, first of all, to declare drought a national disaster. Because this is the only way now donors can come in. This is the only way, again, other humanitarian agencies actually can come in. And this will enable the government actually to even appeal for help to the international community.
We are at a point whereby livestock are dying. And today, tomorrow, the day after, we'll be having cases of people dying. If animals are dying and those are the livelihoods of the people, then it means the people who are with these animals will equally die.
And I understand there is a case of death already in my constituency in Madera East. I have that report today. And if the situation continues this way, God forbid, we might have people dying. People lost animals already. There are a lot of IDPs.
Mandera has already reported the first deaths. We are going to see a multiplication of that in many parts of the region if we do not act now and act fast.
The biggest problem is water. So if we have water, and the president gave a State of the Nation address the other day, and we talked about mega dams which are going to promote irrigation in that region, I think going forward, that's the direction we need to take as a country.
Tea farmers have issued a 21-day ultimatum to Kenya Tea Development Agency's KTDA holdings over persistent delays in fertilizer supply and what they describe as an escalating tax burden. Speaking during the annual general meeting at the Tumaiti Tea Factory, Chairman Richard Magu warned that delays in fertilizer delivery have already exposed farmers to significant losses. He further stressed that timely access to farm inputs is critical, accusing KTDA of failing to protect farmers' interest, and noted that many have recorded a drop in production of nearly 30% directly linked to late fertilizer distribution. Magu further announced that they will formally write to KTDA Holdings demanding an immediate action.
Leo ile swali nyeti ilikuwa mambo ya fertilizer ama mbolea. ambayo sisi kama Dhumaita, kauli yetu kwa KTDA, ile kazi tuliwapatia kama Dhumaita, sisi kama shareholders wa Dhumaita tumeona mmeshindwa na hiyo kazi, kwa sababu hii mbolea mnatuletea hii wakati kwa hakika haisaidii wakulima. Na hiyo malalamiko yote wakulima wamekuwa nayo kwa mbolea, unaona sasa hata ni kama nia yenu ni kuangamiza hii kilimo yetu ya majani chai, kwa sababu hii mwaka kila mkulima amereduce production yake na over 30%. Na kwa hivyo tumesema kwa kauli moja, haitakuwa biashara kama kawaida. Sisi tutawaandikia barua, tuwaambie kama hamtawajibika kutoka mwaka ijayo, sisi kama wanadhumaita tutajinunulia fertilizer yetu. Si ati mko na akili mingi ati nyinyi ndio mnaenda kutafuta fertilizer na nyinyi mnakuja kuumiza wakulima wa Dhumaita. Kitu kingine wa fertilizer, wakulima wamelalamika. Na ni lazima hii fertilizer mnaleta tuipeleke, sisi kama private tuipeleke kwa Kenya Bureau of Standard. Kwa sababu tunashuku hii fertilizer mnatuletea, hii fertilizer ni substandard. Ile fertilizer ilikuwa inakuja kitambo, hiyo ndio fertilizer tumeona ikisaidia wakulima. Na sisi tumewaonya, msifikirie ati kuna kitu mnatusaidia nayo. Hii pesa mnanunua nayo fertilizer ni pesa yetu, tumekatwa kama sisi wakulima wa Dhumaita. Na ile subsidy tunaongezewa na serikali. Kwa hivyo nyinyi msifikirie ati kuna kitu mnasaidia sisi nayo.
And that story brings us to the end of tonight's EBN Prime Edition. On behalf of our sign language interpreter, Laura Mondi, and the entire EBN News team that made this broadcast possible, thank you for spending your evening with us. And before I leave, remember this: we all hide a lot behind our smiles. Each of us fights silent battles that the world may never see. But in those unseen struggles, every scar becomes a blueprint of victory, a reminder that strength isn't in the absence of pain, but in the courage to keep going. My name is George Kayesi, wishing you peace for tonight, strength for tomorrow, and grace for the journey ahead. Good night, and may God bless.